Hello and welcome to the 380th episode of the Unranked podcast. This is Christian Humes here with Alex Tuna.
Yep.
Dan Weine.
Hello.
And hungover from Summer Games Fest, Tom Caswell.
What is up?
Boys, back again 2 weeks in a row. And with a tentative or seemingly locked date for the Power Hour, the PowerPoint Power Hour of June 1, 2023.
July 1st.
July.
Oh, sorry, July 1. July 1.
It's already happened. It's already happened.
Seemingly locked past.
I mean, it's scary the fact that the month is almost halfway done. So, don't blame me for thinking that June is still ahead of me.
The year is when this month is done. We'll be halfway through 2023, which is upsetting.
Alex, I don't know about you, but it just feels closer and closer, that sunset. You know what I mean? Every year, just a little bit older.
Sunset of life?
Yeah, just a little bit older every year. The year goes a little bit faster every time. You can start to picture it. Like, this year felt half as fast, like twice as fast as last year again.
2 times the minus, baby. Two times the minus.
What's 2 times the minus?
Chris, please.
A positive number.
It's actually like, in retrospect, Alex, like kind of mean. It was like something we picked on our friend for when he was trying to say double.
No, he was no. He's trying to say half.
No, he was trying to say that the X thing was twice as big.
Yeah, but it's no. He was trying to say that our middle school was half the size of the one that he was at in Illinois. So he said 2 times the minus.
Well, because what happened was he started by trying to say that ours was twice as large and then changed it to try and say that his was half.
Right.
So he ended up combining them together.
Right. Listen.
Because he flipped the way he would describe, the perspective of it.
Yeah, we are not going to name who this person is, okay?
Obviously,
we are not going to name who this person is. However, Tom, we've also spoken about this guy on the podcast before.
I'm sure I have an idea.
He is someone who he was out sick in 4th grade, and Chris and I were in his class.
2 times the month. This is really fucking funny.
So we were in his elementary school class in 4th grade, and he was out sick, and we were asked to go through his desk. And back in the day, you just stuffed everything in your desk.
Yeah.
So we start pulling out papers and whatnot. We come up with like spelling tests, and like it's just 0 after 0 after 0 on these tests. And then we come up with, we get after like 4 or 5, we get to one, it says it's got 13, great improvement, or like nice improvement.
13 out of 100.
Yeah. Yes, it was
bad.
I mean, it was really bad.
I felt a lot better about my spelling test in that moment.
It's because you guys he was doing poor, so he had come from a different school.
No.
Other way around.
No, we've been friends with this kid for years.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he went away.
So he went away. He moved away in middle school. So when he came back a year later, and we were like riding bikes as we do.
It was pre-internet era, it wasn't like when I moved away, we could just play video games together.
Well, pre-internet, but it was still chatting on
AIM or whatever. Yeah. You didn't have a
iPhone. Not right away though, right? Because that wouldn't.
Oh, I mean, I had AIM since what, 2000?
Yeah.
When did he move away? Was it 4th grade? It's just when that's.
It was the summer of the end of Seinfeld.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he moved away when we were like 11 or 12.
Yeah, because I remember the 3 of us talking about the Seinfeld finale, and that was the summer that he moved.
So yeah, that's prime name.
That's so funny. So that new school didn't do anything to help his education. He came back even dumber.
Alex is realizing now that we were kind of like bullies.
Look, I mean,
like I've already come to terms with this. Alex is kind of like,
how is this
the nicest thing we could have done?
Treat each other now. How is this
right? This is actually the same person, Tom. I'm pretty sure we've told this story before too.
Oh God!
But it's the same person who, I think it was the same grade year, 4th grade. we're at a sleepover at Chris's house. We're in the basement. The bathroom's at the top of the stairs. We're playing some board game, and he keeps saying that he has to go to the bathroom, but like we keep telling him, no, you're not allowed to go to the bathroom. If you leave, you lose. So we end up finishing the board game after a while.
He was worried Alex was gonna cheat and fuck with his stuff while he was gone.
Yeah. So then
How warranted is that?
Oh, definitely warranted based on what happens next.
Much more. Chris cheated much more.
That is so unbelievably not true.
It is. Chris used to cheat a Key to the Kingdom all the time. So anyway, so the game ends, and I, like the dick that I am, run up the stairs. I don't even have to go to the bathroom, but I run up the stairs because he really had to go. Like we stopped him from going. Yeah. So I run up the stairs and I close the bathroom door, and I just kind of stand in there for a while. And then I go to the bathroom or whatever. I come back downstairs, and then he goes, and then about a minute later, we just hear, I don't know why, I'll never forget this, but it's, hey guys, yeah, don't look, I peed my pants. And he had to come downstairs in shame.
Wait, okay, hang on. I'm just trying to figure out the logistics here. So the game ends, you run upstairs.
The game ends. He's been holding it for like an hour.
Yeah.
And I run upstairs before him, push him out of the way,
lock him out so he can't go to the bathroom.
Like picture when George Costanza sees smoke come out of the kitchen at that party.
Oh yeah,
his grandma out of the way.
Okay, but when you come out, where is he?
He's standing right outside the door.
Okay,
but it's dark. It's a sleepover, and it's at Chris's house.
So is the idea that he peed his pants while waiting?
Probably. Okay. I mean, listen, I can't verify because I can't see because the lights weren't on. But like, we also tried to be very quiet because Chris's dad would come to the top of the stairs and be like, Christian. He'd be like, "Oh fuck!" Like
it's also like dark in the basement, and the door would open, and like the lights come in, you just see his shadow.
No, I got you.
Keep it down. We're
it would just be like, I think it would be like Christian and Chris would be like, "Are we too loud?" He'd be like, "You're too loud. Go to sleep." Like, and I think, I mean, what time could it have been? Like, maybe midnight? Maybe. I don't know. 1.
Yeah. I feel like when you're young, you can't even stay up that late a lot of the time.
No, I don't. Yeah. No. Anyway,
we would stay up. Sleepovers I'd be at would stay up until.
Maybe we did.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be honest with you. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't remember even looking at the time. Like, time was such a who cares concept.
Yeah.
When I was 9.
Those days.
When we were 9, I wasn't looking at the time or anything. We were just like,
now you're counting down instead of counting up.
Now June's almost over. We're almost in 2024.
Yeah. When you're younger, time is such a thing that feels like it'll never run out. So you're always like, oh, like I'm counting up, like I can't wait for the thing to come. And now you're like, time is moving way too fast. We gotta slow this thing
down. How did this story not come up last week? Because I feel like there was a question that was sent in asking about if you were put in jail for some crimes against society, what would you have done? And this never came up. This is easily a crime against society. You're making people piss their pants.
Yeah, I wash my hands on the making him pee the pants thing.
I don't think you washing your hands held him
hostage
at the board game table.
Yeah, but Tuna, he would have made it if you hadn't.
Not necessarily. You might have peed his pants on the way up. We don't know.
Definitely couldn't have made it because
that wasn't on us. Because I will say we did tell him constantly to just go.
You meant to the best
in
the piss, though.
Telling him not to go. I feel
like in his pants.
I mean, there was another friend that we won't name either that was also there that we could blame as well, but we won't name him either. But there's other things that went on with that other friend that weren't great either.
That's true. That's awesome.
We can save those for another time. Let's get to the.
But those weren't our fault. Those were his own.
Those weren't our. I didn't have to clean out his desk.
That was his own. Yeah, exactly. I didn't ask to clean out his desk to get that gold nugget of information about 13 being a great improvement. Listen, you got one.
That is gold. That is a gold piece of information right there. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Come on, Pokes. What
Pokemon 380.
I forgot.
Latias. Tuna. Dan, what is a Latias?
Latias is a green dragon. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. With spikes? No, I'm wrong. I'm off.
I mean, you're right in some regards. You don't have the color right.
You don't have the color right, which is the main thing for sure.
Oh, I'm way off.
So no, I mean you got dragon.
It is a dragon.
Spikes.
It doesn't really
Is
look
it a dragon. Oh, it
like
is the
a dragon
type.
but it is a dragon.
Looks more of like a bird.
It's like a space dragon.
Right.
It's sort
color
of like
way
a
off,
space dragon. Yeah,
way
it's
off the color.
So there's two of them.
Looks like Togepi.
The other one is blue though.
It does. Togetic.
Right.
The other one is like a light blue. So you're probably thinking of that.
Right.
And
That's
then the mega
of
this is
the
blue.
mega looks stupid.
Well, it's sort of like it's a fusion.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's why it goes purple. It's like a fusion.
Oh,
like
that's purple. There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Well, can someone give me a name origin on this Pokemon?
Sure. It may be a combination of Lateo, Latin for I conceal.
Oh.
And as Latin feminine suffix. That's a stretch. That sounds stretch. That sounds ridiculous.
Wait, what's the name of this thing?
Latias.
I think it's a combination of latte and us, as in give me a latte. Give us lattes.
Latias appears to be a cross between a jet plane and a dragon.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
It also shares an origin with Blaziken. Because it kind of looks like Blaziken.
It does. Yes.
Huh.
It could be based on jungle fowl. Interesting.
So you know, Chris, going back to the sleepover, Chris had like
here we go.
the classic 80s, early 90s basement. Like he had the wood, but not wood,
the faux wood paneling.
The faux wood paneling.
Yep.
What would not a plaid couch, but it was like it was
like corduroy.
Yes, corduroy couch.
Yes.
With like the whole TV, like the bookshelf,
entertainment center.
The entertainment center. I mean, it was like
Primo.
You want to talk about the quintessential.
Was Chris's house the sleepover house?
Yes, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, depended.
Yeah, I think it did just. I mean, I could tell you places we never slept over. There were certain houses we never slept over.
Yeah, and then also when you did, you kind of wish you weren't.
Yeah, you kind of wished when you did. You kind of wish you did.
Was it because of the smell?
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
Yeah. Isn't that always the thing when you go to someone's house and like it's funny when we go to someone's house that you want to sleep over at. It's like the most exciting thing ever. Like, oh fuck yeah, we're gonna go sleep. We had I had a friend in high school and middle school who had a giant TV, like it was a projector 92-inch TV, and we would play like Rainbow Six like all night and like Nerf guns. And his parents were so cool. It was a huge house too, so you could make as much noise in the basement as you wanted and no one would hear you. That was like, oh, we're gonna go to Greg's house. That's amazing. But there are those houses where you go and then the first time you go there, like, oh no. And then you're like, I have to spend the night here. His mom's a terrible cook. No. Like,
well, from what I remember, there was one friend who he would blame his parents, but the more that I got to know his parents as we got older, I'm pretty sure it was him who didn't want us to sleep at his house.
Oh.
The guy who lived around the corner from me.
Yeah.
Who lived and Dan. Who lived around the corner from me and Dan in the middle. I'm pretty sure that his excuses would just be he didn't want us to sleep over.
Maybe.
And then the other thing was that Chris had the basement. I didn't have like a TV and stuff in my basement until later. Yeah. So Chris had like the area.
Yeah, the setup.
Yeah. That's it. Anyway, sleepovers.
Good stuff. Good times.
More, you know.
Yeah.
What's
someone up? She's definitely not having sleepovers fucking down here. I gotta hang out down here. What else?
Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna need to build like a shed for yourself or something.
I'm gonna have to get a bigger house.
Yeah. Could you just like turn your garage into like a man cave?
No, it's an old garage. It's so
You'd have
old.
to do too much work.
I'd have to do too much work to it. Okay. It's a nothing garage. It's tiny. It's like for cars built in 1945. So anyway.
Okay.
I mean, if you're gonna be in the basement the whole time anyway, though, then if she's having a sleepover, it could be on the first floor. It's not gonna change anything.
It's true.
No, because then it's gonna annoy me when I have to go to bed. She's
That's
just not
so
allowed to have
funny.
people over.
I
You
don't
know what?
know.
They're not gonna have
Funny.
anybody over. They'll do virtual reality sleepovers. I don't know.
You know what?
If that's
Actually,
what-
your house,
Everyone
your
will
house
just be on their
wouldn't
vision.
be great for sleepovers because there's so much breakable shit. I
What do you
feel like
mean?
kids would. You have a lot of items that look expensive,
You have
but
like
they are
an
not.
Instagram house.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
like,
God.
I feel
thing
like
I think
when
about-
you have like friends over, you want to have like them at the house where at least shit is breakable, and if it
Yeah,
breaks,
I'll
it
just
was
send her
$5
out.
anyway.
I'll just send her out. I'll be like, yeah, no one's coming here.
I'll be
There was
honest.
You
I'll
can't
be
have
honest, Dan.
kids-
I'm actually worried about that with my stuff because of every time I have the nieces over, I have to start like moving stuff now. I'm like, oh, I have to move this like replica out of the way. I got to move my Lego set
Yep.
from here because especially
Yep.
like the expensive Legos, the kids
Oh,
are gonna
yeah.
want to touch those things.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I had to move all mine up.
Yeah, that
You need a
stuff's gonna
glass-
get touched.
You need glass cases to put these in.
a locking
Yeah.
glass case.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to be that guy.
Yeah.
Here are my preciouses. They're locked away.
Look, once you get to this age, if you're gonna continue getting expensive toys, which I'm going to continue doing, at a
Yeah.
certain point, you're gonna have to get like a glass case. You're gonna
That's
have to get a thing to lock it in.
So lame.
It's gonna happen.
What are you gonna do? See,
The
that is
amount,
like toys
the
get
amount,
broken.
Tom would need like a museum size room for
Yeah.
the amount of stuff
Yeah.
that he has if it all
Yeah.
had to go up in
Mhm.
case.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tom's like, I can't have kids. I don't have
No,
the square
it's-
footage.
No, can't.
I don't have the square footage for that.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
We
What have you been
need-
doing?
We need the big old house.
Yeah, so Tom, regale us with your experience over the last week of
Oh,
just working like a
just been sitting at my I picked the best time to leave. Well, I did end up picking the best time to leave for my parents because of the smog and the
But you
all
wouldn't.
that.
But you knew this
what?
going in, didn't you?
Well, like the day of driving down, yes, but
Hmm.
planning it, I didn't. Like, I'd planned it a couple of weeks ahead. I didn't know that there were going to be wildfires. and all this.
I'm talking about. No, that's not what I'm
Oh, you
talking
mean
about.
I
for
knew he was.
Summer Game
I knew
Fest.
that's how he was responding, but
Yeah,
I
same. I knew
didn't
it was
believe it till he actually said the words.
Well, because I was talking about the smog, so I thought he was talking about that.
But you were also talking about how you were like, oh, I picked a great time to go because of like, well, you knew you. I mean, this isn't like they
no,
just...
but Tom was talking about with the smog because he left right when he got to the city, so that's why
Yeah.
it's funny.
I thought you were referring to that because that was what I was in the midst of talking about. Anyway,
No.
I did know. I had just
You just didn't care.
No, I didn't think about. I completely forgot that it was that weekend when I made the plans. Because it was like 3 weeks
You
ahead
don't-
when
but
I
you-
said,
hold
"Yep,
on,
we'll
but-
be down that weekend," and I was like,
Okay.
"Wait a sec," and I had said, "Yep, we'll be down that weekend," and then like the next day, I was like, "Wait a second, oh shit!" And I looked at the calendar and I was like, "I'm away." But no, it's been nice. It's been nice to see my folks and be there. But yeah, it was just sitting at their dining room table with like a makeshift setup. Stole my sister's like crappy 1080p monitor to have as like a extra monitor and stuff, and just been editing stuff and running the live streams and everything. So yeah, that's all I've been up to. I've been playing a couple of things. Been playing more Diablo with Brooke. We would play that every night while we were there on the Series S, and having a lot of fun with that. But something I also started playing was the Final Fantasy 16 demo. And one of the things they've been saying with this game that's coming out in a couple of weeks is like, oh, we're very inspired by Game of Thrones. But I booted it up and it is literally just Game of Thrones. There's a forbidden romance where one of the characters' pet nickname for the other is My Lion.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm serious. There is a like a bastard son who is kind of shunned by the mother. There is a kind of leader of one of the lands who is loved by his people and is kind, and I'm pretty sure he's going to die. There is there are literally like beat for beat moments in the beginning that I'm like, I am watching the first episode of Game of Thrones right now. Oh, there's a wolf pup.
Wait, what is this?
Final Fantasy 16.
The last
you
one,
might
maybe.
you might like it,
No,
Tuna, because
I'm not.
their biggest inspirations are Game of Thrones and the God of War games. Like they play like the God of War games.
Tom, let me ask you something. What was the last game that you finished?
This is a question you asked me recently.
Yeah, well, now I'm asking it again.
And
So, what was the
listen the
last
first time.
game?
Jedi
that you
Survivor.
finished?
Was it
Jedi
Pentiment?
Survivor?
Oh.
Jedi Survivor. I beat Jedi Survivor, and I actually probably did like 75% of what is in the game totally, like all the collectibles and everything.
That's actually a fuck ton.
Yeah, so but that is a rare opportunity. And as I mentioned the last time you asked this question, when playing games and having to cover games is your job, it's kind
of I feel like it. Oh, okay.
I think even without the job though, I am like that, so it kind of just plays into.
That's kind of what I've been wanting you to admit for the past couple years. So
I've never been ashamed to admit it. That is,
I'm not asking for ashamed or not ashamed. I'm just looking for the truth.
What? This sounds like the opening to your like weird like alt-right talk show or something.
or like a trailer, or like the final soundbite in a trailer about Tuna's life.
It's Alex is watching his own Joe Rogan-esque podcast
for the truth.
Years of accusatory comments have led to this moment.
Marinello on the morrow.
Tuna at law. A tuna at law. That would be your movie.
Tuna at law is pretty good.
A tuna at law.
Tuna at law is pretty good. You should make that one of your Power Hour presentations.
Yes,
Tom. You
yes.
should just make a 5-minute pitch deck.
Yes. A tuna at law. That's so good. That is the best idea.
It is good. That's very good.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to say anything because he knows it's really good, and he can't even.
Well, Alex is working on his own children's book series known as Attorney Tuna. So he's getting ready to send you the cease and desist right now.
Oh, right.
Right.
Anyway, so there you go. That's all I've been up to.
Well,
yeah.
I want to just get the Zelda check-in out of the way.
Oh,
okay.
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I want to know where you guys are.
I'm only a smidge further.
Oh, I'm much further now.
That's
actually, where was I last week? Where was I?
I think you'd beaten 3.
Yes.
Okay, I've now beaten 4.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with air quotes temples. But I have also done. So then there was the next beat in the story, which I haven't done. But what I have done is a lot of other fucking shit, like shrines, like the depths, like the air, the Scott air.
You find that Yiga clan?
I did not, but I've done other Yiga.
Oh, I've done some Yiga stuff actually. I have done quite a bit. That's what I have done.
Like the depth.
Yes.
I found a lot of cool armors.
Yeah.
I have found a lot of cool weapons that I don't want to use because they're going to break and I don't want to break it.
They're in my house.
Which is so annoying.
They're on a shelf in my house and will never be used.
I remember, you know what? I remember that is what I did in Breath of the Wild. Yeah. I collected the weapons I really liked and just put them in my house.
Yep.
All
of those special weapons should work like the Master Sword, where they just break and you can't use it. Just make the time on it even longer. Make the time on it like an hour instead of 10 minutes, so you can't just use them all the time.
Yeah, I really agree.
Or like when it breaks, it reappears at your house if you have one. Like kind of a.
Sure. I like that.
Yeah, that's good too. It's good too. So I got a lot of bubbles, the bubble tokens, right?
Yep.
So I got enough to max that guy out.
Wow.
Wait, hold on. So then he goes, oh, thanks. You know what? I can sense how many there are left. And he goes,
it's a side quest.
And he goes, there are 96. I'm like, fuck off.
You're not finding 90.
Fuck out of here, man. Like, I saw that and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you go fuck yourself. And then the other thing with like, so I'm down in the depths and I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. But then I'm like, this is getting kind of annoying. Like I can't see everything I want to see. And the problem with the depths is that this is not a spoiler. I don't think you should have noticed.
Have you fully mapped the depths?
No, are you fucking crazy? So with the depths, it mirrors 1-to-1 with the roots mirroring where the shrines are. So,
they are the roots of the shrines.
Yeah, so they're the roots of the shrine. But the problem is that everywhere there's water, it's just wall. So you have to like go around. It's not as easily traversable as the ground level, and it's a
but if you look at the map and remember that, it's easy to plan around.
know. Well, also you can set it so that like your compass is showing you above ground rather than in the depths, so you can see stuff. But regardless, I'm just like, there's you know when you got a certain tier that it was in a spiral location.
Yes, the last one, the final one.
Yeah. So I had to do that spiral location, but in the depths on above ground, you can just fly right over everything and get to the center. In the depths, you got to go around the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, game's great, and I've done a bunch of other stuff. Like I've done a bunch of side quests, gotten a lot of cool stuff. Okay. However, got a major gripe. The fact that I gotta find 120 roots in the depths. Go fuck yourself.
Sure.
Number 2, this is gotta be patched. They gotta patch this. The fact that I gotta run around looking for my sidekicks, having to do
that is bad, man.
They're not gonna patch that.
I cannot believe that somebody. Why do I have a dedicated button for my whistle for a horse that only responds?
They never use.
Only responds to me when he's 50 feet away. Otherwise, you're shit out of luck.
Everyone I see talking about this is like, just put it on the thing, get rid of the map. Or I'm like, well, don't do that. Just make a new ring with the horse and all of the other summons, because it's basically like, then it's just like a summon button. You can summon your horse and you can summon your sages.
Right.
Then change it.
It's so dumb. It is super dumb.
And now here's another thing that's stupid. I was talking to Chris about this the other day. When you get to a certain town, there's someone who's going to want pictures of monsters. Okay.
Bring me pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, he's going to want a picture of a monster.
Yeah.
If you've already taken that picture, there's a one-eyed monster. It's Bobakin. If you want, Hux. What is the one-eyed?
Hinox.
Hinox, thank you. He will want pictures of monsters. Now, he's going to want a picture of one of the first monsters that you probably ever took a picture of. And because the camera roll, for whatever fucking reason, gets too full.
Yeah, I think that's actually the real problem here, in my opinion.
You have to delete. Yeah. So you have to delete it. Then it's saved in the compendium. But when he wants a picture that you have in your pad. Well, I don't have a picture of that anymore. I deleted it. It's saved in my compendium. No. You got to go out and you got to go take it again. Are you kidding me?
Here's the thing, though. It's fun when you do it, because whatever image you take of the monster, that when they create the statue of it, it's in the exact pose. So it
is, but
dude,
at
my
the same
monster
time,
layout
to
is
do the
wild
to complete. Yeah, but you see, you're creative that way. I could give a shit. I just want to.
You can have fun and go take a picture of the thing.
Sometimes not.
I think.
Have you gotten to a certain? There's certain ones that he wants that you got to go really travel for these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a pain in the ass. I've already took the pictures. I already did it. I already fucking did it.
All right.
I'm trying to think if there's any more complaints. Other than that, game's great.
So, are you just like doing stuff till you're ready to go finish it? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I think I'm just playing the way that I played with Breath of the Wild, which was like, I did the story for a bit, and then like I was like, okay, I did the story, then I'm gonna go do some shit.
You have a lot of story left.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm just kind of just like, well, because everything keeps building up. It's like, oh, well, I want you to do this, and I want you to do that, and then I'm like, oh, I got to do that, and then I'm thinking, wait, I got what? Like, for instance, today I was like, I have one more shrine till another heart. I'm like, oh, well, all right, there's a shrine. Then I get the shrine, but then there's something at the shrine that I could do. And then the depths call. And then it's like, well, let me go down in the depths. Here's a chasm. Let me go down there. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a second. There's all okay.
What are you doing on your side adventures?
What?
Are you like focusing like, oh, I have a ton of side adventures. I should knock some of these out. Are you you're not doing that?
I'm not like looking at the list and like going down the list of side adventures. I'm kind of just like exploring, trying to get that Breath of the Wild feel back.
Yeah.
There is one puzzle that I keep thinking about. It's the keys of water.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm just like, I've thrown splash fruit. I threw an opal. What am I doing wrong? Don't tell me. Eventually I'll get it. But it's a pain in my ass. Some of these riddles are like a little vague. Yeah. Anyway, all right, I'm done. That's it. Have myself a vacation.
I beat the game.
I
hadn't beat the game when we last talked. I finished the game. When you get, the final mission, it's like kill Ganondorf. That's
hello.
I mean, hello, it's the like save Zelda. It's the same final mission as in every game. That was a hell of a mission. I mean, I texted you guys when I started it, and then when it ended, and it was like hour and a half, hour 45. Like that was. I'm very happy with it. I'm not trying to hype you up here, by the way. I'm just saying, like, I'm very happy with the way that the game ends, and with the final mission. The final mission in scope felt so big and grand. It's not a temple or anything, but like it felt like as big as like just having a whole other temple, because of how much stuff there is.
Sure. Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
So when you play Zelda, they've been trying to bring all the Zeldas together.
Yeah.
This is my opinion. I think we throw out that whole thing and we just admit to ourselves that every Zelda game is just its own thing.
Oh, they did that last week.
They did that with Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword did that. That was the best thing that Skyward Sword did, was they were like, hey, this is the first Link and the first Zelda and the first Ganon, and this is where the evil came from. It's this other thing.
Yeah.
And this is where the power of the sword comes from, and this is where the Triforce comes from. And they're like, and forever you will be reborn.
Yeah.
And have to do this over and over. That was it. That was perfect.
In different ways, in different areas, in different
That was perfect, because then none of them ever have to connect.
They try, though, with the timeline, with the 3 branching timelines.
I think it's time for the next Zelda.
Converged now on this.
I think it's time for Zelda to go to space.
What is this, Fast 9?
No, I said this last week. I think that Zelda should we can go away from Hyrule and go have another adventure somewhere else.
I actually think now that if they're going to do stuff with like building and stuff again, I really don't think that it's going to be the same Link. I think we're going to go somewhere else. Like, Nintendo doesn't like to repeat themselves a lot. Like, they just don't. So they'll find a new way to do it. And now I'm like, you know what? With Breath of the Wild, when they were first like doing like internal stuff, there were like all these like concept art sketches of like UFOs and like the motorcycle, which we ended up getting in DLC. And now there's all this technology. They've kind of like did like a test of like, are people open to the idea of a Zelda game with technology? And now it's like the answer is obviously yes. So what better way, instead of just finding some way
a far-flung
redo
future?
this? Yeah,
that'd be sick.
Fucking future space Zelda.
Sick,
space,
dude.
like it's basically Star Wars at that point, but it would be cool because you could
give a fuck, dude. That would
and then imagine all the remixes to the music, because it would be all different kind of instruments that they would be like. That would be fucking sick.
Yeah,
dude.
It would be. It would be. It is hard to imagine how they'll step up.
And that would be an easy way to make it some sort of technology-based thing to continue and build on the whole like ancient, like advanced technology. It's like, okay, cool. Let's go to like the Zoni colony. Let's like send Link to space and he goes to find the Zoni. Like maybe they're still out there.
Pretty good.
Be pretty cool.
Get the Tesseract.
Maybe he's got to bring the Master Sword back there for some reason.
Find all 6 Infinity Stones.
Yeah. Oh man. All I want to talk about a different puzzle game. Dan, yesterday you played.
We don't want to hear my progress through Zelda.
Wait, have you started it?
No, I didn't buy it still.
Okay. Dan, you were playing the Palindrome Syndrome yesterday.
Yeah, I played Palindrome Syndrome. That was a fun little game, little quick game. Yeah, no, it's like a little escape room game. Have you played it? Either of you two down there?
No, I'm glad.
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
it's on Game Pass. I don't want to give too much away in case you want to play, because I know at least Tuna likes escape rooms.
I do like escape rooms. Yep.
So you'd enjoy, I think, this game. And it's basically you wake up, you don't know anything, and you're on this spaceship, and something has happened, and you're kind of unlocking what happened. And it's through puzzles. Like there's like a billion puzzles in this game. So like you go into a room, you do 5-6 puzzles, you unlock the next room, and you get clues along the way, that kind of thing. I had fun with it. I thought it was really good.
So you beat it.
Yeah, the whole game. When I looked it up online, it said like an hour 45. I took a little longer with it. It was probably like 2.5 hours. I finished it in something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was probably harder for you because you're doing a stream. So like
it was it was hard for me because I was doing a stream, but also as we were talking about on stream, it's a game made for PC that's on Xbox, and the cursor moving is so slow.
Oh.
So there's a lot of times you're like grabbing something, you need to move it from like the bottom left to the top right, and you're like, okay, we're on our way. One day we'll get there.
It's a cursor mover with joysticks.
Yeah. And it's like I turned like the sensitivity like as far as it could go towards helpful.
Yeah, you got to put it
and
on
they're still
max.
slow. Yeah. Yeah, and I did miss a few things. So there's sometimes I like sitting in a room and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like I looked at everything, didn't I? And then like I fucking walk around and be like, oh fuck, okay.
So that one with the door that you were stuck on, where you had to get the 4 different colors, the radioactive symbol. So I was stuck on that one as well. And for the same reason, I spent like 15.
You missed the thing you need to see, and you're like, okay, well, there's nothing here. What the fuck?
Yeah. And I got stuck on a different one that you got stuck on later, but in the same room, the room that had the wheel with like the colors.
Yeah,
I felt so bad. I was watching your stream, and I
was like so close with it.
Well,
like,
you actually did the answer immediately, but on the wrong line.
Yep.
So then you didn't know what the
on.
answer was. And I saw you just like trying to solve it for like 10, 15 minutes, but you had done it immediately just in the wrong spot. So you never went back to that answer.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I had to have done something wrong. And I was like,
So yesterday I saw when you posted in the Discord that you were going to play this game, I Googled how long it was. And I was like, oh, this is like 30 minutes before Dan's stream starts. So then I text Alex about it. And I started playing the game like 30 minutes before you. I basically was like in the second room when you started the game. And I was like trying to I have to be able to stay ahead of him, which I think was a lot easier because I wasn't doing a stream.
Yeah.
So I was watching your stream while I was playing the game. And then when I finished the game, I came and I started typing in your stream. That's why I was like already there.
Well, I saw you were lurking at least, because I always
lurking.
Well, that's what it's called if you're just sitting there not talking.
I was surprised he didn't say anything. I was like, he must.
Well, because I don't like, you're not supposed to call out if someone's lurking. So I was like, I noticed. I look on there when I first put the stream up for like 10 minutes, and I check out like who's sitting in the chat, and I saw TheChooms is in there. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I completely forgot you were there, honestly. And then you were talking. I was like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, I wasn't saying anything. The chat
with
was
the
popping,
final clue, did you figure it out as quickly as I did?
Oh yes.
It was the final clue is kind of, I wish it was harder.
When I got the first letter, I was like, and I just typed it in to see, because I was like, it'll be faster for me to be wrong than to do another clue.
Yeah.
You almost, so Dan, I didn't tell you this.
Yeah.
Dan almost figured out that I had just played the game, because when you went to look at your achievements and if you got them all,
if I had known what I was doing, I probably
showed that I had just got it, but you had backed out of it like immediately. So it was on the screen for like one frame.
I was trying to see if there were achievements I was missing, if there's some stuff in the game that wasn't an achievement that I got, but there was. I don't think there was.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what there would be that I wouldn't have done.
Yeah. So it's a cool game.
Yeah.
It was good. It was fun.
I think Tuna would like it.
Should be in VR.
Might like it. It's quick.
Speaking of escape rooms in VR. I've been playing Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I really enjoy this game. Tales from Galaxy's Edge. The most recent mission I went on wasn't like a ton of shooting, but I was like at like a Jedi temple and I had to solve like puzzles and stuff. It was fucking, that is like one of the most satisfying things you can do in VR. It's to like go and like fucking pull like levers and like turn cranks and like take something out, pick it up and like put it in, like, you know, like turn it and then like push it into place. There was like a bunch of that on this level, and I wasn't having to do like much combat, and I'm just like walking around this like ancient sort of, you know, futuristic temple. It was very cool. That was really fun. Very good game.
I started playing the demo of it or whatever on PSVR. I didn't get very far, but
the visuals are great. So what else? Anyone got anything else I want to talk about?
I noticed earlier because Fall Guys finished like a not really a season, but they finished their Fame Pass. They started a new one up, and they actually are using some user maps, like user-made maps, are actually in the mix. Not really in the mix, but they're available to play publicly. And they most of them are fucking impossible. Like they chose the ones that were like, how did they even figure this out? But now it's a race.
I'm interested to maybe actually start playing around with that soon, now that I'm almost done with Zelda.
One non-gaming thing that I've done. So we finished the Institute a couple of weeks ago. And I don't think it fell off as hard as Tuna thinks it fell off. I thought it kind of continued kind of satisfyingly, but I do agree that the ending is not as good as like the meat of the book. But enjoyed it. We started on the drive to and back from my parents. You know, we really liked Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, so we started Stephen Fry's Mythos, which is him having rewritten and done the narration for the Greek myths. So we started that up. We are currently in basically the Olympian gods are kind of being born. I didn't realize they weren't all brothers and sisters. Some of them are like actually offspring, and some of them are actually titans that like kind of get rejiggered into the Olympian thing. And the coolest thing in this book is when he explains like this thing in Greek mythology, this is where we get all these words from. Like so many of the words we use today like stem from, you know, all of these like Greek gods and characters from Greek mythology, and it's just so cool to learn about. And you'll hear a name and you're like, oh, I wonder if it is like the mother of this and all that. So enjoying that, highly recommend it. He actually has several books. He has a book called Heroes, which I'm assuming is like a retelling of like the Iliad and the Odyssey and all that. I'm not sure, but there seems to be several
sounds like One Piece.
Yes, exactly. So enjoying that.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Thanks for the invite.
Oof.
I mean, you already have a book list.
Yeah, but I read when he said that they were reading the Institute, I like jumped right on and I finished it like months before they did. Months.
Maybe that's why you weren't invited.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
He probably didn't want to get text from me being like, where are you in the book? No, we haven't done it.
Well, because you put it on as an audiobook, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
I do too. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, but they're just listening it in the car together.
Well, you could look. Here's the thing:
in the living room.
You'll probably start listening to it, and because Brooke has strict rules about when we can't listen to these.
I know that's what I'm saying. Because you have these rules. I just like go rogue and do whatever the.
That is your thing.
Yes, it's like playing video games with Alex.
It's like playing any video game.
Basically, Alex waits for no one is just the rule of thumb.
I was like, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing as a team? Okay. Yeah, no, totally. And like, oh, Alex, what are you doing over there? No, nothing. Don't worry about it.
Lone wolf in it.
We still unbelievable.
Let's talk about some news. What do you think, Tom?
I'd say so. There's a lot.
Is there?
Yeah.
No.
Meh.
Can't be that much.
There were three major presentations and then a bunch of smaller presentations. So there's a lot of new announcements and things of that nature. The first one, which actually happened before last week's episode came out, but we never talked about it because we recorded it on Wednesday and it happened on Thursday. Summer Game Fest kickoff happened. This was actually probably maybe the smallest of all the bigger presentations. Basically,
there wasn't a ton there.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
I don't know. Yeah. Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay got shown off. There's a new Prince of Persia game.
Hold on. What does that mean? Mortal Kombat 1. They're just restarting it?
Yeah, so they
reset the timeline with the last game.
Yeah, apparently the end of Mortal Kombat 11, like the whole time. Yeah,
whoever you play as in Mortal Kombat 11, like becomes the new like god and of time, and so they get to reset the timeline. And there's like all these alternate endings, but like there was one canon ending among them, which was Liu Kang winning. So this is the result of Liu Kang now being the god instead of say like a Raiden. Like Raiden was, previously. Now it's Liu Kang. So
yeah, okay,
there you go.
But
we actually went hands-on with it, and one of the coolest things about the game is it seamlessly moves from like choose your fighter into the match, thanks to the new consoles and those new SSDs.
What do you mean thanks to the new consoles? What does that mean?
Because of their speedy SSDs. What happens is you pick your two fighters in the menu, and instead of going to a loading screen, they kind of like face off in a clash, and then they like push off of each other and do a move, and then boom, you're in the fight. So there is no like just like a loading screen. Looks really cool if you're a Mortal Kombat fan.
Yeah, but that was like part of the prep. Like, you know what I mean? Like you picked your character, I picked my character.
Well, you do that
goes
still.
Black. You know what I mean? And then you kind of like
it's
ready.
So there is a loading time because the fighters are like facing off, and they do like a kind of like a little bit of banter, and then they kick off into the fight. It's very cool in action when you look at it. And then they have this cameo system in the game where you can basically call in another character to use their abilities and kind of like have them tag in very quickly. Seems very cool. Funnily enough, we got the release date for Spider-Man 2, which we saw at Sony like the week prior, but we didn't get a release date then, but they announced it here. So that's coming out in October. And they said that Venom in this game is not going to be Eddie Brock. This is going to be whoever is Venom is going to be someone else. So we shall see what we shall see with that. There's a lot of
Peter's
guesses and stuff online. Who?
Peter.
Well, the thing is the concept art does show him and Miles fighting Venom.
Oh, okay.
But that's concept art. It could be.
Sure.
It could just be concept art. So we shall see. I mean, we see spoilers for the end of Spider-Man 1. We see the symbiote in that game at the very, very end in a post-credit, and it's a part of keeping Harry Osborn alive. Something's wrong with Harry, and he's in this tank, back to tank, and there's symbiote in there. So maybe it's Harry that's Venom.
Yeah.
Maybe Kraven becomes Venom. Hobgoblin. Yes, exactly. So we shall see. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the sequel to remake and the continuation of that story, got a gameplay trailer and is coming out early next year. We got to look at Alan Wake 2. This is a game that I think Tuna particularly would like. Are you into this, Chris?
wanted to talk to you about talking to Alex about playing this game.
Sure.
Because I feel like it's so outside of Alex's wheelhouse in some ways. In some ways, it would really take some convincing, but narratively speaking, as a fan of Stephen King, I don't know how you wouldn't play this game, because it is really like heavily based off of like a fictionalized Stephen King kind of character. It's incredibly story heavy, and like, it's very much like, this thriller writer who's kind of like a Stephen King, like it's like his story comes to life sort of a thing, and you're like playing in that. I mean, it's very cool.
So this one is going to be, the first game was more of an action-y game, but this one's going to be more of a survival horror, and it's very much in the vein of like The Outsider. The writer Alan Wake, which the game is named after, he is basically trapped in another dimension, and as Chris mentioned, his writings are kind of coming to life, and you're playing as him in that dimension, but then you're also playing as an FBI agent in the modern day who is searching for him and like doesn't believe in the occult, but like slowly this town is like metamorphosizing into this supernatural thing.
It's like a Fringe like episode.
Sure. So one of the cool things though, gameplay mechanics in the game is that at any point you can press a button and enter your mind palace, and you can literally like pick up clues and put them on the poster board and draw the strings between all
they
of
need
the
stuff
elements
like this in a Batman game.
Oh, that would be the dream,
right? Like a real detective Batman game.
Yeah, that'd be sick. We see some of those elements in the Telltale series a little bit, the narrative one, but obviously you don't get any of the cool like action stuff.
Give me like a big ass corkboard and like let me put strings between pictures of characters and pretend like I know shit. That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. So this is Mindhunter is another show that they said was like inspiration because they have to like
great show
profile.
Show just like
profile.
Also has Olivia Dunham from Fringe.
Yeah.
Oh, really? There you go.
And Michael Severus from Fringe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the other kind of big announcement. I think that game looks great. Very excited for that. That's also October of this year. Those were kind of the big headlines from SGF. In the Xbox showcase, I don't know about you, Chris. I thought Xbox fucking crushed it this year.
Yeah. I felt like the sentiment around Xbox has been very sour as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
And I felt like they really needed to knock it out of the park.
Well,
like
Tom
the worm needs to have turned. I feel like still a little skeptical of them. However, the show was still good. I felt like it needed that like one more thing moment that never came. I felt like I wanted one more.
You didn't think the Starfield presentation was like?
I almost wanted something that looked awesome that like was available like
soon,
not necessarily right now, but like soon. And
sure.
it other than
Starfield
is
going to be only 2 months away.
At some point, that'll be soon.
That's sort of where I'm torn because I think
scheme of things.
I think Starfield might be that thing, but I'm just remaining skeptical about that game until it's out and it's like I know that it's not buggy and it's actually like fun.
Here's 1/10 of what we promised. Isn't it going to be amazing?
I think the scope of this game and how much it's been talked about for like a decade and everything, like there's just I never brought into the hype, but like from looking at it on the outside, that's like why, because I'm like, I'm not gonna hype myself out like for this game because they're sort of like saying things and like the things that are being said about this game are too lofty. Like no game is ever gonna be that good without also being really fucking annoying in a bunch of other ways.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think the thing with Xbox is we have to wait for all of these games they announced to like come out and like see where the chips land.
I'm gonna side eye them until they do.
Granted, I think that that presentation was really strong, and
it was.
There's a couple of Matt Booty, who is the head of Xbox Game Studios, said that. I mean, we can only take his word for it, but he, a lot of people are worried that it's going to be a very buggy game, obviously, because Bethesda is want to make a game with bugs. He said if we were to ship it today, it would be the least buggy game Bethesda has ever made. So
and yet they refuse to ship it today.
But that doesn't that's not the most confidence building thing I've ever heard. But sure.
Because what does that mean? Like, there's still a ton of bugs, just not as many. We don't know.
This is the best piece of shit we've ever kicked out the door, guys.
Regardless, even if that it's an 8 out of 10 of the things that we saw. The presentation was very exciting.
It looked incredible. It looks amazing, and there's a really cool fucking controller that I want. They have a themed controller, but I'm like, I'm not buying the controller and then like hating the game, so I'm just not gonna get it.
The controller's cool enough that even if the game sucks, you're like, the controller's still cool. So we got a trailer for Fable that showed off a smidge of gameplay. It was narrated by Richard Ayoade from the It Crowd.
It's so funny to me that Alex and I knew how to pronounce that name, and Tom was. I saw Alex smirk at that, and I knew what that was.
What was it?
Look at Tom's face.
What?
Look, like he hosts Question Team, and he's
right, he's in all your games.
He's Travel Man. He's from the IT Crowd. He's 80 Cats.
He's in Mandalorian.
I thought he's just Dave in this,
Mandalorian.
though.
So we got a trailer for that. He plays a giant, which was a really fun twist in that trailer.
That was really good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw it, Tunes?
I did. It was 2 minutes. Took 2 minutes of my time.
I just didn't know if you had you seen anything else from this showcase, or
I did, Tom. A lot of things are surprisingly very short. So, but we're on Fable. So go ahead.
Well, that's really it. We didn't get to see an in-depth look at gameplay. Apparently everything was running in engine though, so it looked great. We didn't get a release date, not even a window of like 2024 or anything like that.
Yeah, so that means like 2026.
Means like 2020 never.
It's like the Avatar movies that all got bumped. Did you see the last Avatar movie is now coming out in 2031?
Yeah, I saw Zoe Saldana said something. I think she said she's
like, I'm going to be 53.
Yeah.
But like, not really though in the movie because she'll be blue.
No, because she will have shot it like a decade prior. Exactly.
Well, they haven't shot 5. They've shot 2 and 3 and some of 4.
But they'll be starting. Yes, 4 they have started shooting.
Movies are too long.
Yeah,
I would. You know what? I shouldn't assume they'd still be blue at that point. They could be any color by then.
Yeah, they'll be anything.
You gotta like how they're doing the whole Avatar thing, though. They're doing fire in this next one, and then we'll probably for the 4th one we'll go to Earth instead of there being like an Earth Kingdom tribe,
right?
And then 5 we'll go back to the Avatar world, and then we go into the like.
You don't think the first one's Earth
that they teased in the second one?
I think the first one's Earth.
No, the first one's not Earth. That's air.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones that were flying. Their whole thing was their tribe flies.
Yeah, I guess.
And they're in the floating
the whole
islands.
idea is it's a new
they have
Earth.
To be air. The first one's definitely air.
Is there any Earth left to go back to?
Good question.
That's I think
going to
be
whole
part of the
thing
point
is we
that
need
like
this planet because the other Earth's fucking dead.
My guess is there's some kind of bullshit.
Well,
like
that's what James Cameron said.
Here's my guess.
The 4th movie is going to be set on Earth.
Second movie. They set up this location that they built. They're building like a human city.
How old's James Cameron?
68. I actually looked it up because I was like, "Is he going to be alive?"
Yeah, he's going to be in his
70s.
He'll be fine.
He'll be in his 70s.
He's rich. He'll be fine.
He's got time. He's got a blood boy.
Yeah, he's got a blood boy. Have you seen Harrison Ford? That man is spry. He's in his 80s.
Harrison Ford's playing the Hulk. God damn it!
You know what's really funny about Harrison Ford? I feel like 10 years ago he was worse. Like 10 years ago than he was now.
What do you mean, like in health?
Like I feel like I saw him like in interviews.
He used to play it up. I think he used to play
it up.
I do because like he would go on talk shows and he likes to do the like old cranky man bit.
Oh, okay.
And now that I think he's actually starting to feel old, he's not doing it as much, and now he's playing it down.
Well, there was a really good profile. I think it was the Hollywood Reporter had a really good profile on him a couple of months ago. Great interview, and it's fantastic, and it totally encapsulates who he is. And he was asked about that. He was asked about like some people consider you to be so crotchety. You could be very short. Like you speak. He's like I'm fucking terrified of being bored. Is what he said. And so like I think he just has lived this incredible life, and at this point like very little kind of interests him, and that's why he's kind of doing, that's why he's going to be the Hulk. He was like, I've never done anything like a Marvel movie. Like this is the
yeah, because even in Star Wars he's playing like I'm the regular guy who kind of points out how weird things are.
They're going to put him in a mocap suit. Like he's probably never done that before. Like yeah, so anyway, speaking of Han Solo, we got a tease for a new Star Wars game at Xbox, and then we saw gameplay of it at Ubisoft, but we can talk about the whole thing. Star Wars Outlaws, it's going to be set during Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. You're going to be playing basically a scoundrel, a rogue like Han Solo-like character called K-Vess, and we saw an extended gameplay. One of the cool things about this is it's seems to be like Star Wars Grand Theft Auto. It's an open world, but that means like you can ride vehicles, which even in the Jedi games we haven't really been able to do. You can jump into your spaceship and seamlessly fly into space and fly around in space and hyper jump to another star system. There's wanted levels, especially considering you are like a scoundrel.
Star Wars GTA.
It looked really fucking sick.
It does. It looks very, very cool. And Ubisoft knows how to make massive worlds based on, the Assassin's Creed games. Yeah. So the idea of like that kind of game, but with Star Wars, I mean, I'll play it. I'll do that. Seems fun.
Did you see this trailer, Tunes?
Yes, I did actually, Thomas.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts were that it looked good. The thing that I was thinking about the most though was how many fucking Star Wars things are we going to make? Is it just Star Wars for the rest of our? I mean, like,
no, but it's a franchise. So now it's like it's a world where a ton of stories will exist.
Yeah, a ton of stories.
Forever.
Let me tell you something. Half of these stories are not that great.
Yeah, some of them won't be, or they'll be for a different audience.
So here's my question. You know the way that like every once in a while you get like a Julius Caesar revival, or like we'll revive a Broadway play that we haven't seen in a while. In 1,000 years, are we still going to be talking about goddamn Luke Skywalker? Is he still going to be out there making games?
We talked about this. This is another topic that you've brought up before.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Am I getting too old now? I'm
It turns out that humans like stories that go on forever and continue forever, and they'd like to have these fictionalized worlds, right? And that is like a newer part of culture when it comes to like these stories, because stories, unless it was like straight up folklore that became like religions, there were just all these one-off stories, right? Unless it was about gods were like always that's what this is, because now that people don't have religion, they want new stories like to put things in and have this sort of giant shared universe. That is why they're able to do it with Harry Potter shit. They're doing it with Marvel stuff, if with DC, with Star Wars. Like anime is like this. Like everything will be like this, because if people like it, why would they stop doing it? Right?
Yeah, I'm just I think I've had it with Star Wars for a bit.
Sure.
I think I've just had it.
You're very hot and cold is the thing, because the last show, Mandalorian, makes you feel like that, right? But then right before that, you had Andor, and you're like, this is the best Star Wars thing, and this is amazing. Which is why, like, that's the thing.
But you see, the thing is that here's my thing. My thing is that people don't know when to stop. Well, stop with drawing it like Mandalorian.
That's the machine part. I agree with you. We're gonna always get content that is partially just being made, not because someone's like, I have this amazing story to tell, but because like the company's like, we can make another $1 billion. So just do it. Even if the story's not
Mandalorian
good.
Season, what we on 3?
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 3, meh.
Well, Mandalorian season 3 died, so Ahsoka can thrive, is basically what happened there. Because basically season 3 was basically just written by Favreau and not Filoni, because Filoni, who makes the best stuff for the Mandalorian, didn't write basically any of season 2. Season 3, but he did like all the stuff we loved previously. He wrote every single episode of Ahsoka. Like that is 100% his show. And he was basically like, this is the show that I wanted to make, and it's going to connect to everything else. So Favreau is basically why season 3 is kind of sloppy. Season 3 is like,
I mean, look, season 3 season 3 fucked it for me when the monster flew off with the kid.
Again, that episode that is a prequel ass episode. That is a prequel ass episode of Star Wars, man.
Flew off with the kid, and then they stop and go, oh, wait, let's wait.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
That episode is a rough one to watch.
There's only one great moment in it with the guy that played Jar Jar Binks when he saves young Grogu.
Was that in that episode?
Was that episode? Oh my god. And then Christopher Lloyd shows up as the clear bad guy, but then they try to make us think that he's not. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I agree with that.
He went too far back in time. That was the problem.
That season was.
He went really too far back. There you go. Real back to the future. Okay, speaking of things that have sucked at some point, Cyberpunk 2077.
Still talking about this shit?
Well, there's a DLC coming out. And
it's the Cyberpunk universe, Alex.
It's called Phantom Liberty. It is Idris Elba is in it. We've known this before. Basically, your mission is you're trying to save the president. It has a new part, a new map. It's coming out later this year. How many times
can we save a president? Fuck me.
It's coming out later this year, September 26th. But the cool thing is apparently there is no system in the game that they haven't tweaked or reworked or just redone completely. So one of the people that on our team that got to play it said a ton of my complaints that I had with the original game have been addressed. Instead of clothing being tied to armor and you having to like constantly be switching out and looking, the clothing in that game is really dumb. Armor is now based, and like your health is now based on upgrades that you make to your cybernetic system. Health in the game was a huge problem. You take damage all the time and you would have like hundreds, I'm not kidding, hundreds of like these canisters that you would just shoot up and you just constantly be like juicing up. And it was so frustrating. Apparently the way damage is dealt and like how often you're healing and all of that has been like completely reworked, which is exciting. The perks and skills that you're getting aren't just like, oh, 5% strength increase. It is actually, you are adding stuff to your system. You are getting new things that you can do when you're unlocking these skills, which was a huge complaint I had with the original game.
Here's a question.
The police system has been reworked, which
this
was
laundry list of things they're doing.
Yeah.
How much of it do you actually believe? Because remember the laundry list of things they said you'd be able to do in that game when it came out?
So they've played hands-on, which I don't think. I think there was only one preview.
There was that one preview.
I mean, there is
a vertical slice.
Yeah. The other thing is they did play on console, which is good because we all know how the release of that game went for console.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people are obviously very skeptical, and I do not blame people. But again, it's one of those things, if they can deliver on what they're talking about, like one of the people that had played it had said was like, I'm almost more excited to go replay the original game now that they have all of these systems in. So we shall see with that. But I take it this isn't going to bring any of you over to check it out.
You get one chance to make a first impression. They made a fucking horrible first impression. There's so many other games out there, man.
Sure.
Yeah, there's too many other games. Why would I? I'm not going to join in on that now. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, that's coming out when? In the fall?
Yeah, there's going to be like it's like a couple of weeks after Starfield. So if Starfield is any good, are any of us going to be playing the Cyberpunk update?
No, of course not.
They announced a 1 terabyte Series S. It comes in black. It's going to be $350, and it's coming out September 1st, right before Starfield. So if you've been looking for a Series S but wanted more storage, there you go. Avowed got a gameplay trailer, and apparently will be coming out next year. This is Obsidian's RPG set in their Pillars of Eternity world. The thing with this is that it's not going to be a massive RPG fantasy game like Skyrim. That was initially the plan, but then they decided to make a much smaller game but have it be a much deeper experience, whatever that means. So maybe this will be different enough from all the millions of other fantasy fucking RPG games.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll feel very similar. I don't know. What did you guys think about this one?
I thought it looked okay, which I think is not. I mean, I think it was a mistake to put that trailer in the same showcase as Fable.
Sure.
I think that was a mistake. Because that game's going to come out next year, and everyone's kind of looking at that like, well, it doesn't look as good as Fable.
Doesn't it?
Visually, it didn't excite me. I thought it looked fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tunes? Did you see the trailer for this one or no?
No, he didn't see Avowed.
He didn't even remember what game we were talking
about. No, he fell asleep.
Do you know why I didn't remember what game we were talking about?
Why?
Because in my mind I was like, I can't opine on this at all. I didn't see it.
There you go. Forza Motorsport got a release date, October 10th.
Yeah,
it's gonna be more of that.
Okay.
We
like
saw
Hot Wheels is coming out.
Cars?
They're coming out.
Oh
with
yeah,
new
Hot Wheels 2. I'm much more excited for Hot Wheels 2.
Yeah.
Clockwork Revolution. This is In Exile.
This is cool. Alex
the team from the team who made Wastelands, which are tactics games. This is a first-person shooter. It looks very BioShock Infinite. The world that they have is steampunk.
It looks awesome, though.
And one of the key features seems to be time travel, fucking with manipulating stuff in time. You can go back and change things in the past. It will change what the game is like.
This is just an Xbox studio being like, we don't have that IP, so let's just make a new one.
Yes,
but that's what this is. This is
yes.
They're like, cool. This is what we would do if we had BioShock.
It does look cool.
Looks awesome.
Does look very cool. And then the last major thing, which I don't think any of us are super excited for, but Persona 3 is getting a remake called Persona 3 Reload. People are kind of mad, though, because it is a remake of the original Persona 3, which had some re-releases down the line that added new content that necessarily people are kind of caught on what version of this game is the best, but people were really hoping that this would be a like definitive, we're taking all the best ideas from all the different versions and putting them in one game for a complete definitive experience. But it is just a remake of the first game, of the original Persona 3. So people are upset. But those were the big ones from Xbox. We didn't see any Halo stuff, no Gears, nothing like that.
Halo's gone out the window, I think.
They have a Tales from Monkey Island update for Sea of Thieves. Really
sea
cool.
Of Thieves.
I might want to.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Fuck around with that again.
Because I think a few trailers before it had been Star Wars, and then the Sea of Thieves thing came up, and then it was like Lucasfilm, and it shows like the night sky, and you're like, oh, and then it was Return of Monkey Island.
I was kind of hoping we were gonna get Indiana Jones.
I bet you I guess it would have to be. Well, the new movie's coming out in like a couple of weeks, so it would have to. But there is a game coming out from an Xbox studio, so
Xbox getting an Indiana Jones game.
You got to imagine that is a ripe one.
Yeah, I think that's Sea of Thieves with those. Like every once in a while, they threw like the Pirates of the Caribbean thing in there. Like I feel like every once in a while they just kind of do that, and that's kind of what our relationship with that game will be. Is like, oh, if there's a cool thing out, we'll check it out for a few days, and then we're done with it for another 6 months.
Yeah,
6 months, totally. More like 2
if
years.
If not 2 years. I have no idea how often they're planning coming out these days.
And then the last kind of major
there was an indie game in that I thought looked amazing.
33 Immortals.
No, 33 Immortals might be cool though, but no, Dungeons of the Hinterbridge.
Oh yes, Hinterberg.
Yes, Dungeons of the Hinterberg. Alex, did you see this trailer?
I did, Christian. I did. It was a nice 2-minute minute trailer. It was a beautiful looking trail. It looked good. It looked like it's a little bit of Zelda.
Yeah.
A lot of Zelda.
It looks very much like Zelda. Yeah.
It looked like Borderlands and Zelda and like
because of the art. Yeah.
Well, I can't play it then. Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to handle it.
Right. So no, it looked good. I mean, I'll try some of these games if they're on.
I mean, that's gonna be on Game Pass too. So.
Right. So if it's on Game Pass, I'll try. Oops. I'll try it.
Most of these games.
I mean, the cool thing about it is the way the idea of the game is like you're a tourist in the Austrian Alps, and like you get this tour guide book, and that's like giving you the missions, like they're like clues to go like find or do things or meet certain people, and you also just happen to have this like magical sword. But otherwise, like, so you're just getting this sort of tourist guidebook that kind of, which it reminds me a little bit of the way like Tunic you deal with the book, not in the puzzle way, but I do like the way that it was fun having the guide. And
Tunic's
one of the greatest video game experiences of my life.
The greatest video games. Yeah, it was the wonder of it all while I was playing Tunic was incredible. I mean, it was so good. I haven't had a gaming experience like that since like Breath of the Wild, like finding things in Breath of the Wild. It was
amazing.
So good. Glowing review.
Great.
Did you guys watch the trailer for I think it's called Jusant, the climbing game?
Oh, yeah, that looked really cool. That looked like a very relaxing game, but Tom, all I kept thinking was, can I play this in VR? This would actually be like really fucking cool in VR. Like the visuals seem kind of made for it too. Ooh, that looked really good.
Yeah, it could be I mean, I don't know. I think that we've got enough VR climbing games to have a third person, one built for like this third person one. And someone I was watching on a like reaction to it was talking. They were like, it's cool because a lot of games that have climbing, like there are so many third-person action games that have climbing, but it's an end to justify the means, right? It's just something that you do to get somewhere. None of them are like, unless it's Assassin's Creed, but even that's lost its kind of identity with making climbing fun. A lot of these games that have climbing now are just shit it out. There's climbing. Here you go, climb.
There's climbing in Assassin's Creed got worse and worse and more irrelevant and more irrelevant as it went on. Give me a break, especially with Valhalla was a clear case of we don't really have a lot of tall buildings in England. What are we gonna do? Fuck it. Forget it. Who gives a shit? It's not what these games are about. That's basically what it was.
Yeah. So like you climb mountains now. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what you climb.
Climb, walk up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's true.
So I'm sorry, Thomas. I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No.
But Jusant looks good. Chris, anything else from Xbox before we talk real quick about Ubi?
Not off the top of my. Oh, they announced Flight Simulator, a new Flight Simulator.
Yeah, 2024. So there's going to be a new Flight Simulator.
Is it just going to update the old one, or do I have to buy the new one?
That is a really good question. I mean, you won't need to buy it because it'll be a Game Pass game. But
I don't think the last one was at first, though. I guess it will be now.
It was on PC. It just came out to PC first.
Right.
But it was a Game Pass game through PC. It seems as if it's going to launch on console the same time as PC. But this one is adding, the original Microsoft Flight Simulator is getting the Ornithopter from Dune this November, and you'll be able to fly around Arrakis, which is sick.
Oh, yeah, I'm fucking doing that.
So they had that, but the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, it opened, and then it was like, you can fight wildfires, and everyone was like, oh, okay. And then it was like, you can do search and rescue. You can do all of these activities that aren't just flying. So I think that's why they're justifying like this big expansion. I wonder if it may even be something like a paid update, like $30 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you update Microsoft, the one from a couple of years back. I'll dabble with it for a bit and then probably pick it up again. Although that Dune Ornithopter thing will be sick.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, if you can play the new one in VR on PC, which they didn't announce, but if the PC gets a VR mode, I'll end up getting a VR system for my PC and I'll play it there, because
there you go.
That would be sick to do.
There you go. And
Alrighty, ready.
Ubisoft had their presentation. This was a really whatever conference.
I mean, well, because they already announced Star Wars
and
the
Star Wars show off was awesome.
If Star Wars hadn't been at Summer Games Fest, then everyone would be like, "How about that Star Wars game with Ubisoft press conference?"
But the presentation, just like the production level in the presentation was bad. But we did see the first gameplay of Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Speaking of Avatar, it's coming out this year. It's coming out on December 7th. And it looks to be a reskinned Far Cry. So we shall see how this one does. I was initially very excited about this game, and then I saw gameplay, and I was like, I don't know.
I thought it was going to be closer to an Assassin's Creed than a Far Cry, which makes me...
It seems to switch from like third person to first. Yeah. Like when you're flying, it's first person, and when you're doing some of the other things, it's third person. But the moment-to-moment gameplay is first. I was let down by this. It seems that that's how you felt looking at it.
I mean, I'm probably going to play it. It just depends on what's out at the time. You know what I mean? If there's something else, then this might be a game I'll just miss. But I liked the movie, and I think the best thing about Avatar is the visuals. So, like, the world is cool, so,
Were you so blown away by the visuals this time around rather than the first time?
Yes, just in a different way. This time it was like the physics of the water and the texture work and the lighting was, the last time
the frame rate.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The first time it was kind of like, 3D. Because that was also like the first thing that most people saw in the new 3D.
Right.
And obviously, like, it didn't, look like a cartoon,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the water.
I was blown away by the Avatar too.
It was
I really
amazing,
was.
I thought.
Yeah, incredible experience.
That's why each one of these is going to take so fucking long to come out because the next one they're like, yeah, we need like another 40s. Like 18 months to render this because like they just can't. There just aren't good enough computers to do it as fast as they need.
Yeah,
it's wild.
That is wild.
Want to listen to a voicemail? Tama's game too, which I'm excited about.
Yeah. Let's see how this one goes.
But yes,
Dan, let's hear.
There's a game. So when I went, when I saw you were playing Palindrome Syndrome, I first thought maybe there's a Game Pass game. It wasn't, but I did see there's a game on Game Pass that seems like something you might want to play. It seems like also maybe like good for streams. I'm gonna play it this week just because it sounds funny. It's called The Big Con. It's on Game Pass.
I think I passed that. Yeah, because I do every once in a while just like go through all the games that exist on it just to see what the hell's up.
It looks cool. It's like it looks like an old like 90s cartoon, like, and it's you play as a kid in the 90s. Yeah, you're a grifter. You're a teenage like grifter. Tunzo would love this game because you're just going around conning people. That's why it's called The Big Con. You're going around conning people and like stealing money from people, and like it seems pretty cool. And it's all like 2D top down, so it's not 3D or anything. It's just like a cartoon. Look cool. So let's tell you.
All right, I'll look into it.
There you go.
Email it on unrankedpodcast.com, or you can do like today's caller did and call 805-738-8692. That's 805-738-8692.
If this is Tuna again from
It's
Caswell.
not.
No.
I was going to say it's not before you even opened your mouth, but I didn't want to presume.
Yeah, but we have two actually, so that's why I saw there were two, and then I go, wait a second. No, okay, no, neither.
How could you tell? The phone number?
It's like I have two coins in my hand that equal 30 cents. One of them is not a nickel. What's the other one?
Yeah.
So, this is Justin or ToTK in the Discord. I just wanted to call in. Had a complaint. Here's my guys' thoughts on it. It feels like it's like dumb. Like it feels like a dumb complaint. But whenever I go to work and my wife cooks meals for me, right? People always ask me what I'm eating. And when I'm on lunch, like I'm kind of like on my own. Like I kind of have like a zone I go to where it's like me and I like, I'm just trying to like recoup after like a day of work so far. And it's like a small thing, right? It's not like I'm like ever like feeling blowing up on people or anything, but it just feels like, why do you care so much about what I'm eating? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking this way, and it's like way too nitpicky. But I'm just like, I don't know. Can you just leave me alone? Why does it matter? Does it change your life in some way? It's not like they're asking for recipes, and I can't even give it to them anyways because I'm not the one cooking it. They know that much. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for this, but I'm curious what you guys think. But other than that, stay unranked and suck it.
Maybe they want to be your friend, and that's the way that they're trying to like break the ice on the old friendship start.
I don't know. I think it's just an office thing. Like people just love doing nonsense, nothing talk in offices, and it's just another thing to add to the nothing talk. They're just like, oh, did you see outside today?
Yeah.
Oh, what you got there?
Yeah.
Matt
Talk about this weather.
Matt and I would try to bring food to work at G4. We would try to bring food in, like,
and you get it confiscated every time.
But anytime we did, everyone would be like, "Oh, what do you have?" And like people would always want to look and want to know. And so when he said this, I was like, I know exactly what he is. I know there was on more than one occasion where it'd be like me, Matt, and like sometimes it'd be like Becky or Tanae or like a couple of the people that I work with. Like maybe we'll all sit together at lunch. Maybe it's just some of us. That's fine. But sometimes it's too many people sit down, or like you sit down and then everyone wants to talk and everyone always wants to ask what you're eating. Or Matt would do the same thing. He kind of looked at his food and he'd just be like, I don't know, like my wife packed it, or like it's just like a sandwich, or pie. But like if too many people came over, we would kind of give each other this look and be like, You want to go outside, or do you want to just go back and sit at our table and not?
There's an
You know,
easier way
we
to
would just
stop
get up
this,
and
though.
leave sometimes.
You know what's great?
Well,
I used to eat so fast that no one would ever be able to ask me what the fuck I was
What do
eating.
you mean used to?
Well, I don't go in the office anymore.
Oh, you're like
That's
Kirby.
funny.
Yeah.
And
Done.
then he
Goodbye.
he is like
turns into a
that.
pasta dish.
Just literally hoovering it down.
And
Good
the
thing
way
you
I
don't
think to
turn
get
into
around
whatever you.
this is lie, and it's something disgusting.
Yeah,
Like that way they don't ever want to ask again.
that's fair.
They're like, oh yeah, no, my wife, she crushes up all the spiders we find around the house, and she mixes them into the pasta, and then she makes sauce, mixing her own blood, and just like some ridiculous thing, and just so they never want to ask
Then
that
people
question
are
ever
going to be
again.
like, well, now I have to ask him every time, and now
Or they'll just be scared of him.
now I expect a story every time.
No, they just say the usual.
You've just built story time for yourself.
The usual is good. The usual is good. Just good. The usual.
Fun.
The usual.
Yeah, that's pretty
Usual
good.
is a good answer. Yep.
All right, we got one more. Let's do this one.
Hey guys, it's Steve. I have to call in and defend my honor, I guess. I am not a bird person. I don't know what kind of
It wasn't
psychopath
him.
would be, because that kind of noise day in and day out would drive me up the wall. I do remember this scenario you're talking about, though, where we were playing Halo and you heard a loud, high-pitched noise coming from the background. That was my fiance. My fiance has a very high voice, so that's that. Just, I have no other reason to call, just defending my honor. Suck it.
Defending his
All
own
right,
honor.
then
Wait, I'm
wasn't-
sorry.
Throwing
then
the
it
wife's
wasn't
honor under
Steve.
the bus.
Wait. Then it wasn't Steve.
Then it
It's
wasn't
the person that we spoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who started that rumor? Because it wasn't him then.
Wasn't me. I did not think he had a bird going
if
in.
you-
Somebody listening to this right now, you had a bird. You played Halo with us, and the bird kept talking.
The Slater
Who are
bird?
you?
It's not Slater. Slater was playing with us though. Slater was
there.
No, so it was definitely not
Spiff-
Slater.
Let's see.
It wasn't.
Spiffy
It wasn't
sometimes.
Slater, but
Or maybe it
is
wasn't, I don't know.
it Spiffy?
Might
It
have
could
been.
be Spiff. It's definitely Spiff.
Is it
I
the
never
Spiff?
hear
'Cause
a
it
bird,
was
though,
an
when I'm
S.
playing Fall
It was
Guys
an
with
S
Spiffy.
person.
It was an S.
But it is at
person.
night.
Is there a Sparks?
Sparks is a possibility.
No, it's not Sparks. It's
Wasn't
not Sparks.
Sparks
Are
is
you
no
sure?
bird?
Oh
Okay.
wait.
Are you sure?
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Oh
I'm
my
thinking of
God.
Sparks.
Is it Sparks?
It could be
I don't-
Sparks.
I don't
All right,
think
well,
it is.
Write
Whoever
in
it
or
is.
call in
Call
and
in.
defend
Call
yourself.
Have
in
the
and tell
bird
us who
call
it
in.
is.
Who has
Because
a damn
now-
bird?
Now I kind of feel really bad that we blame Steve on
Well,
the
what I
bird
Well,
what I
situation.
thought
we
was
got-
really funny.
We got
is
prices
that-
wronged. We've atoned.
Right. Okay.
What
All
I
right.
love about Schteef is that he didn't think, oh, they must have confused me with someone else.
Yeah, he was like,
he
oh,
thought,
that's...
oh, it must have been my wife.
Yeah, it's like, she just sounds like a big old bird.
Like,
Which, by the way-
what's her name in Always Sunny that they always call
D.
like a big bird?
D.
D.
Oh,
Yeah. Do you remember the one episode of Always Sunny where like they do it through everyone's eyes of how they see everyone else? And she's
Yes.
an actual fucking like emu.
Yeah, it's just like going around like
Yeah.
a chicken. So good. So good. We apologize to everyone. Like just everyone. Steve, Spiffy, Sparks, or Slater is
Up
even
until
in
this
there too.
point,
I'm so
Tom,
sorry.
I feel like we could go on record saying the Unranked podcast in our history of 380 episodes. We're on our 8th year of podcasting across
We
2 different
apologize.
decades. We've never been wrong before. This is the first time it won't happen again.
Oh yeah, never been wrong.
Never needed to be
No.
corrected. Never been
Never
wrong.
needed
Yeah.
to be corrected.
Never.
No.
Well, that was
never
our one.
wrong.
We got our one.
There
That's
it
it.
is. We'll see you in another
Oh.
8. We'll see you in another 8 years.
Tom, I heard you made
Christ.
us a game.
I did. So it's called "Is This Just Real Life or Is This Just Final Fantasy?" So
God.
what?
This is a game I'm going to be great at.
So basically, what I have here is I am giving it's trivia, and you are guessing the numbered Final Fantasy that is the answer. You
I
can
love
name
it.
Such a shitty one.
And
This is
I
gonna be
love
some
it.
Fucking halves.
whatever. It's going to be golf scoring, and we're going to tally up who it was the closest overall at the end.
Oh,
That's the
so
game.
like if I guess 7 and it was 2,
You get
then
5.
I get 5 points. Got it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I guessed the original,
This is good. I
and
like
it's
this.
15.
Yes.
The game's over for me.
Well, no, because people can make those mistakes and all that. And it is just the mainline games, and it is 1 through 15 are
Right.
your numbers that you
I
can
might have
pick.
to go Scantron mode on this.
And just text me your answers. So
one at a time, or just wait till the end?
One at a time. Let's do one at a time.
How many are there?
10.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. We'll
All
have
right.
10 minutes to talk while Tom does math.
And I have a feeling,
Oh.
and I have a feeling that
Shots
you guys will get your
fired.
answers in very quickly because I'm sure you know none of these answers.
Correct.
All right,
Perfect.
First question: which is the first Final Fantasy game with summoning?
Oh,
that's
which
easy.
Which is the first Final Fantasy game with summoning?
should I spell it out so that it's easier for you to understand?
What are you talking about?
What the? They're numbers, aren't they?
They're
Yeah,
just
but you want me to
numbers.
spell the number out so that it's like.
Why is that harder or easier?
Because I was gonna put question 1 dot and then a number, so maybe you'll think it's
just,
like 14 or something.
No, just we're doing it. You're sending it to me right now, Tuna.
Right this second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Okay.
All right.
All right. All right. Everyone has sent their answer in.
You know what? We
All
shouldn't have
right.
been so mean to you, Tuna. It's not like you have a bird or anything.
Right. Thank you.
So which is the first Final Fantasy game with summon magic? The answer was 3.
Ooh.
I wrote 3 and then I changed it.
So Chris and Dan both guessed 4. So they got 1 point there. And Tuna guessed 6, so he's at 3 points.
You thought it was 6? That's crazy.
Yeah, nuts. Which Final Fantasy was originally planned to include online elements, which were ultimately scrapped? Okay. Okay. Tuna and Dan and Chris both have their
Both?
All both of us.
And sorry, and Chris and sorry,
Tuna
as I was speaking, Tuna and Dan were the only ones in, and then Chris sent his in. So I was in the middle of saying both of you, but then Chris got it in.
2 times the minus, Tom. 2 times the minus.
Okay. Let's do what you answered. So let's go with Dan. What did you say?
I guessed 8.
Chris, what did you say?
4.
Okay. Tuna?
I also guessed 4.
Okay. It was 10.
So and Dan was the closest
with 2. Yes, it would have to be later on-ish.
Well, there were a lot of weird early NES stuff where they had plans to do online stuff with like video games.
Early NES?
Yes, the original Famicom people did their like taxes on and stuff like
that.
I
was thinking like it had to be in like
online?
the PlayStation 2 era.
It had an internet connection, Tom.
The NES had an internet connection?
Yes. Well, I don't know about the NES, but the Famicom did.
What?
Yeah, anyway, I was figuring it had to be like PS2 at least.
It wasn't anything like the modern internet, Tom.
No, I understand.
Going to websites.
I understand, but like I didn't know it even had internet connectivity. Okay. Which Final Fantasy was the first to feature motion capture to do character animations?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Which Final Fantasy was the first to feature motion capture to do animations?
The Family Computer Network System, only released in Japan.
Interesting.
Suck it, Tom.
I'm completely.
People bet on horse races. That was one of the things you could do with it, was gamble on horse races.
I'm completely happy with being wrong on that, because
I'm not saying it as if you're wrong.
I know, but Tuna was trying to be like. Okay, Dan, so which Final Fantasy was the first to feature motion capture to do character animations? Dan, what did you say?
From what I recall, it was 9.
Okay. Tuna, what you got?
8.
Chris, what did you have?
I also put 8.
All right, sweet. I can't.
And the answer is 8. Yeah,
All right,
Tuna
fine.
and Chris nailed it, but Dan was only one away. So
that was my game theory there. I was like, okay, it's in this range. Let's get somewhere towards a middle.
Which Final Fantasy is the only main series Final Fantasy game to have more playable female characters than playable male characters?
That's a good question. The Bechdel Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Well, probably.
Which of these Final Fantasy games has the most
They're all just talking about boys the entire time.
Yeah, this game still doesn't pass the test.
How many are there?
15
well, he said 16
is
is coming out soon, so
all right, 16 is coming on.
There are spin-offs and like X2 and all this, but it's just the base numbers because that's the only way this works. Okay. Tuna got his in, Dan got his in.
part of me hopes I'm really wrong.
Oh, I forgot to.
You didn't hit send?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just like, what are we waiting for?
Okay. Tuna, what did you say?
2.
Okay. Dan?
I hope you're right, Tuna. I went 11.
And Chris?
6.
So the answer was 5. So Chris was only 1 away. Tuna was 3 away. Dan was 6 away.
Yeah.
So I think we probably evened out-ish in the scores.
You know what? Good for them. Good for them.
So it's anybody. Yeah, 5. Which Final Fantasy is the first Final Fantasy game featuring a battle that the player is supposed to lose? Which Final Fantasy?
Say it again.
Which Final Fantasy is the first game in the series featuring a battle that the player is supposed to lose?
Like sort of like at the beginning of
Sekiro.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Okay, like that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a term for that?
I don't know if there's a term for it.
Unwinnable?
I mean, yeah, I guess that's possible. I think someone actually did beat the guy.
Yeah, you can in Sekiro,
but then it still plays a video that you lose, right?
Yes,
like
I think that's how it happens. Yeah,
it's like the one. Actually, it happens in Elden Ring. That very first boss when you're on like that isolated island place. You're not supposed to.
Well, in theory, but in theory, you can still win it.
You can, but it's
okay. Which Final Fantasy is the first Final Fantasy game featuring a battle that the player is supposed to lose? Tuna, what you say?
I said first one.
Okay, Dan.
I was like thinking it might have done that. I went 6 just because I couldn't make myself go 1.
Chris?
I went 5.
All right, and the answer is 2.
Whoa!
So Tuna was only 1 away. Chris was 3. Dan was 4 away. Which Final Fantasy is the only game in the main series to have no female playable characters?
Which one had the most?
The one that had the most, or
it gives something away,
or at least more female than male was 5.
Okay,
so 5.
We had that
out the picture. There you go. You've knocked out one of the 15 there for you. Who sent something in?
Trying to send.
Okay.
I feel like this is a trick because the other one was the other way.
Okay.
Or is it a treat, Dan?
Both. It's a trick and treat. Which is, I don't know how that works.
Right.
It's like a gobstopper. You think it's one flavor and it's got another one inside?
Which Final Fantasy is the only game in the main series to have no female playable characters? Tuna, what did you go with?
9er.
Dan, what'd you go with?
I went extreme. Because they had the Bechdel test one early. I went 15. Like they just did it to fuck with everyone.
Chris?
What did I say? Oh, 13.
Oh, 13. I actually wrote that down incorrect. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so the answer was The answer was 15. Dan was
Yeah.
correct.
Oh.
Final Fantasy
Nice.
15 was all male playable
That seems like a
characters.
really weirdly timed thing to do, but okay.
So
Well,
Dan had
Final Fantasy didn't want to look woke.
yeah
You know?
before people were even using
They knew
that
who the
term,
crowd
before
is. They
anyone-
know who those
yeah.
anime avatars are.
So Dan was
What do you mean
0
before people were
off.
ever using that term? It's been around since the 70s.
Dan, yeah, but using that term in the way that it is being used today. Dan got a nice fat 0. Chris was 2 off. Tuna was 6 off with that. A couple more here. Apart from
Can we
Final
get the current
Fantasy,
scores?
Math has not been done yet.
Nah,
I
he
haven't done
can't.
the math yet.
He can't do it.
I mean, I can if you want to wait like a couple.
No,
No. If
I
you were
thought
gonna
you
do
were.
it,
I thought he was updating him as he went.
yeah,
I'm writing down what the difference is
yeah,
so I
yeah.
can quickly add them up.
yeah. You should. Why don't you just do a spreadsheet? So you just click, boom, 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 done.
It's also very easy math, but that's not the point.
Because it's just on my phone.
It's not easy
right.
for Tom, Mister 2 times the minus. He who shall not be
Say
named has
that.
been Tom the whole time.
It was me at the sleepovers. Apart from who pissed his pants apparently as well. Okay. Apart from Final Fantasy 16, which Final Fantasy has had the longest development time of any game in the franchise? Tuna sent his in before I even finished.
That's in numbers here, people.
I feel like I could be wrong, but I remember hearing something about it, but I could be very wrong at the same time that I'm just like remembering
You
wrong.
don't remember anything.
Well, people, when they talked about the games, I was in the room sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like there's.
Were you about to say only one answer?
No.
Oh, okay.
All
think
right.
You're
There's
about
a
to say there's
really
only one
good-
Highlander?
I think
Apart-
there's a really good educated guess you can make.
Apart from Final Fantasy 16, which Final Fantasy has had the longest development time of any game in the franchise? Tuna, what did you say?
I feel like I should have said 7, but I said 3.
Okay, Dan
I went 8.
and
I could be
Chris.
completely wrong, but I think it's
So
wrong.
I felt like at first, for a quick second, felt like I should say 7, and then I thought no. Every video game has taken longer to make than the preceding video game, so it should be Final Fantasy 15.
And the answer is Final Fantasy 15. Chris
There we
got
go.
0. Dan got 7. Tuna with 12. Tuna,
So,
back in those days, they made a game every week. They were just shitting out video games.
What do you mean?
And
There's
I
no Mega
answered-
Man games.
You realize I answered the question before you even asked.
I know.
I mean, we
know.
used to get a Zelda game every year, and then we had 6 years between Zelda games most recently, which is the
Yeah.
longest ever.
I remember like the ones that take place in the 80s and like early 90s. Like I looked up one time like what happened to the Mega Man franchise, and they were like they just put out so many games in such a short period of time. Everyone got tired of it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, the thing that's going around now is like all these big studios that make like, the big video games that we play. Any like new games they're starting at this point, unless it's like a smaller game, is basically being made for the next console.
Yeah.
Like, because that's how long it takes to make a game now. It's crazy.
Ridiculous.
It's crazy. Things don't have to look that good. We can all take a step back with it, maybe.
Ridiculous, ridiculous once again.
I know you say that, but I saw that Avatar game.
Yeah, that
I didn't know, I
looked
think it looked
good. was
great.
pretty nice.
I was like,
Nice.
ooh. All right, which Final Fantasy is the only main title Final Fantasy that heals all characters between battles?
Oh, it auto heals? That's
Between
sick.
battles.
You know what? I might have to visit the dice app for this one. Just roll and see what I get. How do I roll a die?
A 15-sided dice.
I'm trying to find one that makes sense. Dice roller. Hello.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a 12-sided die and just hope it's not one of the new ones. I got okay. Not all right. Here we go. I mean, I could just shout it out. It doesn't really matter, but that's what the dice told me to put.
Okay. Okay. Did Tuna? You sent me one, yeah, Tunes?
Yeah.
I did, right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Which Final Fantasy is the only main title Final Fantasy that heals all characters between battles? Chris, what'd you say?
10.
Dan, what'd you say?
9. That's what dice told me.
Tuna.
12.
The answer was 13. So Tuna was only 1 off
fucking
there.
dice.
Dan was 4 off. Chris was 3 off.
Dan, I might join you in this dice roll thing.
Which
Why
Final
not, right?
Fantasy? Which Final Fantasy is the first game in the series with voice acting?
I'm not putting that down. I'm not doing that. There's no way that's right.
Try it. Okay. It's what? No. Back when you couldn't really have voice acting.
All right. Which Final Fantasy is the first game in the series with voice acting? Tuna?
7.
Dan?
11.
Chris?
Double down. 10.
The answer is 10. So Chris nailed that one. Dan
I'll take my
11
Tuna
there. Was 3 off.
When did that come out?
10 would have been.
Can I guess first?
The very early 2000s.
Really? Okay.
So I'm thinking that I was trying to think about what game probably came out around the time of Spirits Within, the Final Fantasy movie that they put out.
Final Fantasy X was 2001. Yeah.
Ooh.
There we go. That I think that was also like the first one to like
when in
truly
2001
be like a 3D game. July 19th.
That would make sense.
Why?
Didn't hear a lot about it afterwards. Something must have happened in between. I'm just dying right now.
I just didn't see that being a 9/11 joke. Like, I just didn't see that coming. I was like, what is Dan's angle here? Something happened in between then and now that stopped people talking about Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, that's what it was.
10. No one
it
talks
wasn't
about
it wasn't the movie
anymore.
just being like at best mediocre.
Oh my god. Which final? This is the penultimate question. Which Final Fantasy is the last single-player game in the main series to allow the player to name the main character?
No, this should be the last question. This is number 10.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I've written 9 answers before this one.
Okay, sorry. Then this is the last question. I
Wait,
wrote
you should have had
down.
15 questions, one for each.
Oh,
game.
that's a good one.
I also pre-sent my answer already.
What'd you send?
7. Might as well go right down the middle.
Let's go Scantron.
But like,
Scantron.
you know, I think if you thought about it for 1 second, you would know that you're wrong.
What is the question?
Which Final Fantasy is the last single-player game in the main series to allow the player to name the main character?
Again, like, what makes you think that question would make me think 7's wrong?
Because
they didn't even start doing motion capture or voice acting until 10. Right? So, like, if they're not doing that stuff, then they don't care enough about the story to lock you out from changing the character name.
That's a big leap. That's a huge leap.
So here's the thing.
That's the
what did you put as the answer, Tuna?
7.
Right. The most iconic Final Fantasy character.
Well, no.
It's
again, you're assuming that I think that's
you could change Cloud's name.
Oh, that's where Cloud is from?
Couldn't you?
Yeah, that's Cloud. Oh, wow. Wow. That's
Maybe
funny.
You can't. I just assumed you could.
I don't think you can, but yeah. It's just funny.
I assume they came up with something later on. They were like, "Oh, we'll just talk around."
So Tuna put 7. Dan, what did you put?
I went 14.
Dan put 14. Chris, what did you put?
10.
Did you put 10?
I thought so. What did I put? 12. For 12.
The answer was 10. So Chris was off by 2, Dan was off by 4, Tuna was off by 3. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. All right, let's tally these up. All right, yeah, just go to talking, lads.
The winner is going to have to describe their favorite Final Fantasy game in detail.
This is interesting. We always are able to talk. Then when he's got to do math, that'll take about a half hour. We don't talk.
Yeah, because we're all just like kind of waiting to figure out what the hell just happened.
Well, I mean, you don't even need to add mine
breath.
up.
Why not?
I mean, we don't. We can. I'm gonna add yours up to see what you.
Why don't we have to add yours up? You weren't that
because
far
he
off.
thinks he's super wrong.
I'm very far off.
Tom, you could rename the characters in Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, you could. There you go.
But you couldn't rename them, but you could.
But it
name
still
them.
wasn't the last one.
Yeah, so my answer is not that ridiculous.
No,
Yeah. I mean, it's still wrong, but it still doesn't make it, absolutely insane.
And with it being 10, then I was right on the money with why they made that change because that was around the time that like they were like, oh, video games are gonna be like movies. You're gonna care about the characters now and the story. So like you're not gonna change that character's name. Like you can't do it with Link. You
used to always be able to.
Correct. It's because now like it's just hard to make the
Link.
player as much of an avatar. Yeah, So I gotta add this to the soundboard.
The clicking.
It almost sounds like when you have a bunch of those like rubber chickens that make the noise at once going.
Yes. Yes, I do.
All right. So, Tuna, you weren't far off.
That's more menacing.
Tuna did come in third place with 38. Okay.
Pretty bad.
In second place, that was good. In second place was Dan with 30.
I mean, that was second. I know nothing
Chris,
about the games. I think it worked out pretty well.
Which put
Terrible.
Chris in first place, and he is actually further away from Dan than Tuna was from Dan with 18.
Sounds like rain.
It does. It sounds like almost like a gutter.
If Rain had hands and was at the theater and then took a big shit.
That's more of a piss.
All right. Tom, are we back this week on Avatar? What's happening?
Brooke will be out of town, so we have to skip Avatar for another week. But we will be back following week, if we can all make it, for Avatar, the continued adventures.
Dan, what are you doing on your stream?
I mean, on Saturday, it's Fall Guys, little happy hour action.
We're the Unranked podcast. We gotta go. Time's up. Stay tuned. See you next time. Details in the show notes. Stay Unranked.
All right.
Talk it.